At that time, they called us up because before the war in Japan and Hong Kong, they had this war in Europe, but they weren't accepting any Chinese before that. And then, so when after the war in Europe, so the Western Allies paid more attention to South Pacific. And at that time, the Japanese had a real stronghold in the South Pacific. They were overpowering every country. There's Southeast India and Philippines, and the whole South Pacific was falling. And they were entering Burma. And then, so they come up with this idea, wow, we better enlist those Chinese because they have a purpose to serve, right? They could, if they train them, and we could drop into Burma, and we could, organize and recruit the Chinese because we could speak the language and look like them. And after basic training, they would ask us, do you want to go active, or do you want to remain in Canada, right? So most of us decided we would go active. Well, a group of us sort of talked it over. Well, let's say we weren't doing so well here. We weren't allowed higher education or, and things like that. There's no doctors, lawyers, anything. Maybe if we went overseas and came back, maybe we have better opportunities. So that's why most of us decided we would go active, So when you go active, you go where they want you to go, right? So we ended up outside of Burma, final training there, trainers in guerrilla warfare, and well, they teach you how to use small arms and how to hit and run and sneak up on people and and stuff like that, right? And hit and run, and you just generally slow down the enemy lines. I myself took wireless, so I didn't take the demolition or anything like that. They give us parachute jumps, right? Just before entering Burma, I didn't go as far as Burma because I was just due for a parachute jump, and they dropped a big bomb, and so we got to come back. But those boys that are already in there, they finished their training. They had a parachute in during the night in groups of about 8 people, and they would have 2 leaders and demolition group and a wireless group and a couple of guides, right? When they drop the people in there, they issue, besides the ordinary equipment, they give you 2 cyanide pills, right? They tell you if you get captured, you were to take the 2 cyanide pills, because the enemy was pretty cruel at that time. They have a reputation of, not taking prisoners.
How were you treated by the guys that you were deployed with?
I got to meet a lot of people I didn't know, right? Yeah. So after we came back, we're still friends. I still see them. Because I'm not a Vancouver boy. I'm a small town boy from Vancouver Island, right? So I didn't know too many people in Vancouver, but I got to know quite a few after the war. I worked in a cannery, worked in the pulp mills, worked in sawmills. See, all this time I was working all these different jobs. No one knew I was a veteran until the last job I was working at the sawmill when I retired from there. And then I was walking one day on Armistice Day, and he saw me walking there. And he waited at the end of the line for me. And friends and family didn't even know. They said, yeah, until very late They see me one day in uniform. They say I started wearing this after I joined up with 280. And they said, gee, I wouldn't know. Yeah, friends that I've known for 30, 40 years. That's the way it was. I didn't think much of it. I didn't think it was a big deal.